Hey, everybody, welcome back for another episode of The Overlay, a poker podcast brought to you by CCG Poker, Chicagoland's #1 live charity poker experience. Hey, Brando, happy 2026.
How's it going?
4 events into 2026. I'm pretty happy with 2026 so far. It's great.
I think I'm most happy about the weather, to be honest.
It is like almost 50 degrees today, January.
I am looking at my car
2026
thermostat, and it is saying 51 degrees.
Ooh.
The sun's shining. I mean, it's borderline hot.
Yeah, you're thinking about wearing shorts.
Oh, I'm definitely wearing shorts. I was thinking about
nice.
I'm thinking about putting the AC on right now because the sun is beaming into me and I'm sweating.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. It's too much. It's winter. It's winter.
Yeah, I'm also behind a big semi truck with a bunch of logs, like Final Destination.
Ooh, yeah, that's bad.
And I really need to switch lanes. Anyways.
Although I will say, and maybe it's in lieu of what today's episode is about, that would kind of be like a high and a low for 2026 podcast next year. Be like, Brandon dies live on the podcast.
That would be pretty epic. What would be like for you guys? Yeah, I wouldn't be around.
It would be very well listened to. What would be your last words to your poker audience out there?
Oh no, I couldn't. You can't put me on the spot.
It would just be like, avenge me!
No, it would
play 7-6 and call it that, not stupid 6-7.
Nah, yeah. It would just probably be something dumb like tight is right or something. More rake is better.
More rake is better.
Rake is better.
All right, we'll start with a highlight of 2026. Did you see the Lodge's social media where Doug Polk walked around with a cart full of money, like full of poker chips, and just was handing out $100 chips like it was candy?
Everybody that was seated at the Lodge got a $100 chip.
It's kind of awesome.
It's a great promo. If we did that at CCG, we'd be ruined.
It would be like, you know what? I've always wanted to create a Black Friday in, like in the summer, so we could like split it. And I feel like that maybe that's what we need to do. Maybe we need to just
kind of like WSOP Paradise in the winter.
Yeah. Again, these are all highlights of what we're going to talk about. So we're not going to tease you folks anymore. Here it is. Overlay Poker Podcast episode 100 and something. I forget what number.
What are we at? I don't even know what we're at.
Damn it! Now I have to look it up. I don't know. 108.
I want to say 100. I was going to say 114, but I guess we've been slacking a little bit, so probably not that high.
Yeah, Apple Podcasts just put us out there as a bi-monthly podcast, which means like every 2 months.
Oh no, that kind of hurts.
Yeah, because it was like 10. We missed a couple of months there in between, and I should have got them out there earlier, and I didn't. Oh, shit, 120. This is number 121. All right, so New Year's resolution, we're going to try to get more regular podcasts for you folks. We're trying, I assure you.
At least once a month. I mean, we could do 12.
I like to do where you and I can do 12 a month. I am going to try to do another 3 or 4 kind of like, random times throughout the year and get some more interviews.
Like without me. You're going to cheat on me.
Yeah, I want to get some more interviews with some cooler names. And I read this, I don't know, like inspirational book at the end of 2025 or some shit. And it was like, you'll never know if the president of the United States will give you an interview unless you just email them. Like email all of the famous people that you think will never say yes. And yeah, you're going to send out 800 emails and you're going to get 799 no's. But you get one yes. I Instagrammed, which
Trump
feels weird. No, I'm going to do that today. I did. Well, no, the one highlight for 2025, which is today's episode, highs and lows of 2025, the poker story. I reached out to the dude from the WPT. Why can't I think of Matt Savage? I reached out to Savage with no intention of him ever going, yeah, no problem. When are you free? Tomorrow? I was like, oh, shit. It's like asking the hottest girl at the bar to dance. And she's like, yeah, that sounds great. You're like, fuck.
Yeah, sure, I'm in. Like,
fuck, I was expecting you to say no. Not yes.
Right, we need to get a better song. I can't dance to this song. I was just,
right. I don't know.
My shot here. I can't believe you said yes.
Yeah. So shoot your shot, folks, wherever that may be. Okay. Highs and lows of 2025 as far as poker goes.
We're going to start with some highs?
Do we want to start with... I like highs first. I think lows...
Me too. I
Lows
think
are
like
always
highs and then down to low and then, meet in the middle at the end with a sweet ending.
all right. So, all right, we'll keep the big high of the year for the end, and you'll know what it is when I start mentioning the other ones. Okay, in no official order. These are not like ranked 1 through 3 or backwards or forwards or anything like that. 2025. I think the poker boom is still booming. I think we're trending up. In general, with poker, I feel like we had a huge poker boom in the early 2000s with online poker and all the television poker. I feel like post-COVID, maybe people have realized how much they miss live poker in general. I feel like numbers are way up again.
So I think the tournament sector numbers are really way up in general.
Yeah.
Because the original poker boom was created from this allure of being able to turn, whatever, $11 into $1 million or whatever Moneymaker did.
I don't think it was $11, but I know what you mean.
Whatever. It's a satellite that turns into another satellite that gets you into a big tournament that you win, and you turn a whole lot of nothing into a whole lot of lot all in a few days.
He turned the price of a Big Mac into, millions of dollars.
Right. And I think that, cash games always existed in casinos in Las Vegas. And that's a little more intimidating because you got the grinders and you got the people trying to make a living making $22 an hour. And this is, 20 years ago, trying to make $22 an hour playing, 1-2 no limit or 3-6 mix or whatever they're playing. That seemed a little more intimidating. And I don't think that really contributed to the poker boom.
No.
Whereas I think, fast forward 25 years, I think that excitement for tournaments, especially with the tournament numbers and the guarantees and
going up.
The mystery bounties of being $1 million, like being on the table. It's like I can literally show up, put my $1,000 on the table, and literally be walking out with $1 million bounty 36 hours later is really quite intriguing to, a new poker player.
I also feel like, too, and it kind of goes back to the idea of why we're in a poker boom and still booming. Imagine taking $1,000 and what would you rather do? Take $1,000 and go to a poker tournament, and that could be anything. Could be mid-stake stuff like, MSPTs, circuit events, up to the main event, WPT events, big Venetian events, right? Like during the summer and stuff. They have all of those as well, which I count as big buy-in numbers, right? As the normal person, would I rather take $1,000 and go buy lottery tickets, scratch offs, which you could turn into? I'm sure there's some $20 tickets you could turn into $1 million, right? That's a thing.
Sure.
I don't really buy scratch offs.
That's James.
Yeah. If you play scratch offs, hit us up on Twitter and let us know the rub. You can get an app now in Illinois to do your Illinois lottery stuff, which I didn't do.
Yeah.
I got very pissed, and I did have a Ken soapbox moment at 7-Eleven at 7 o'clock at night on when the lottery got super high. Because I was like, you people are idiots. You have no chance of winning. You have a better chance of Bigfoot mugging you in the parking lot than you have of winning that money. Save your $12. But anyways, with that being said, I think for the average person, and it's 100% true, spend $1,000 on scratch-off tickets or spend $1,000 playing in a poker tournament, and if that's one tournament or 10 tournaments, doesn't matter. Over the course of a year, where are you going to make more money?
I mean, you could be the worst poker player ever and make way more money.
Hell yeah. And that's exactly what I wanted you to say. You could be a bad poker player. And you and I love to say this, and I don't know if I want to say this on the podcast because maybe it's not great. But I love when you give the person the moniker saying, man, that guy's just bad enough to win.
I love that statement.
I am just bad enough to win a lot of the PLO tournaments I play. And people are like, oh, you're such a good PLO player. And I was like, no, I'm really not. I'm just bad enough to maybe win something. And it's great. And I think that's super fun. And I love that about poker, that hope and that dream is always alive. And it's great. I think it's huge. I think more people are starting to realize, man, poker really is more like chess than any other game or gambling aspect that's out there. Yes?
I agree. I fully agree.
Yeah. I think the better players typically do well. I think that you can get a pretty good grasp on the game by putting forth a little bit of effort. Most people who play don't put any effort in to study and getting better at the game. And if you put even just a small amount in, like your odds of being profitable like exponentially grow. And then if you really work at it and have a little bit of natural talent, whatever that may be, like it could be a career, which I think is awesome.
I fully agree with all statements above. Now, you do, obviously there is something to be said with putting your $1,000 up and also the timeliness of it too. And I'm not really comparing this to lottery tickets, but maybe comparing this to like cash games. Where it's like, if you're going to play poker for 30 hours a year, are you going to slap your, $200 buy-in at 1-2 and maybe double or triple up? Or like say you have a hot run and you play 5 sessions of 1-2 and you bring, $700 all 5 times for the year. And, you run hot and you turn your 500 into 1,000 all 5 times. Okay, cool. You made $5K. And that's about as hot as you could ever run at a 1-2 game, winning every time, never losing, all the games are good, having the best experience ever. I mean, that's good. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But it's like kind of like, buying a $20 scratch off and winning 100. Like, does it feel good? Of course it feels great. You 5 extra money.
But you just go back and buy more tickets.
We ain't playing the lotto for $100. Like $100 ain't changing anybody's life. And I mean, obviously 5,000 is a lot amount is a large amount of money. But I mean, these days, if I'm going to spend 30 hours playing poker, I want life-changing money.
Yeah.
I want to pay all my bills, all my credit cards.
6 figures.
6 figures.
Yeah.
I want, yes, correct. 6 figures.
Maybe 7.
For sure.
I mean,
at least more than a 1 in the 6 figures. 200 and something thousand is where I start getting a little excited.
My poker boner gets big when it gets to
for sure.
200.
I mean, 100K is nice, but a $250,000?
Yeah.
Quarter million's enough to actually do something.
Whenever you can say it's a quarter, like nobody says, man, I won $1/1000,000 yesterday.
Right.
That doesn't exist.
But
quarter mil. I want a $250,000. Like that's
and they're like, wow.
Oh, whoa. $0.1/1000,000. 1/20th of a mil.
Yeah, I agree. So I do think the
1/200th of a mil.
Tournaments are back because people can just in such a short amount of time turn a little amount of money into a lot of money. And they know how to play the game. They know how to play the game. They know there's luck involved.
Poker's
and like
the American dream.
Somebody's going to play just bad enough to win. Mm-hmm. And somebody's going to win 7 races in a row. And somebody's going to flop set over set. And, somebody's going to flop pocket deuces and the flop come a deuce when the tight guy's got aces and get all their chips. Like, it happens every single day in poker. Like, it probably happened in the time that I've said this little rant I'm going on. But, like, why not me? You know what I mean? Like, why not me? And you don't have to do that much. And, like, obviously the bigger the field and the higher the buy-in, the more good players are going to be in there and the tougher situations are going to be put out. But that being said,
there's always the wild card. Every tournament you watch on TV, there's always a wild card. There's always the underdog story that's like, holy shit, this is an accountant from freaking Wichita, Kansas. This is his 8th tournament he ever played in. He won his free poker league to get a seat into this thing, and now he's at the final table where first place is a 7-figure. No, that's what we want. That's what every single person on the planet wants to believe. Even Brad Pitt's probably like, man, it'd be nice to win the main event. Like, that'd be fucking cool. Like, I should try that.
That would be cool.
Everybody thinks that. That's Brad Pitt. Not that I have a thing for Brad Pitt. You could also inserted Tom Cruise. But
those are the 2 you go with?
I'm a Brad Pitt guy.
And Tom Cruise?
In order of male actors, I think I go Brad Pitt, Tom Cruise, Clooney's much lower, but in that realm of like cool guy stuff, Yeah, I'm old. It's fine.
You are getting kind of old.
I know.
But that's something for another day.
I'm getting closer to the senior event. Here we go. To include the poker boom in general, WSOP main event numbers, I mean, just the series in general is way up, like 9,735. It's 3 years in a row that we've been close to 10K. I know it's still the 3rd largest main event of all time this year.
3rd largest of all time, yeah.
That's nuts.
97 and change.
Last year was the 2nd largest, and the year before that was the largest. That right there is just
solidifies
highlight city.
And you got to remember, this is a year where the tariffs came in and everybody thought that there was going to be travel bans and people weren't going to be able to come from Europe. And we thought the numbers were going to be drastically affected. I mean, they were marginally affected at most.
Marginally affected at most. And I feel like more Americans came out. Make poker great again. Like, they came out. Like, we even, I like
Which is great, because it's nice to see when the WSOP is in Las Vegas, the Americans do well. And in 2025, the game is dominated by the Germans and the Brazilians and the Euros. And, it's part of that is just because, poker's just so huge over there. And the online aspect of that.
It's less regulated in other parts of the world than it is here, which makes it harder for people to get into the game, right? Like the ease of use is also a huge part of the poker boom in general when people are able to play at home on their couch in their underwear, build that $1 satellite up to a 10K main event seat, then go to Vegas, play in the main event, get blah, blah, blah.
And advertising. It's all over the TV.
Also advertising.
In Europe. You remember back in the day, it was all over ESPN. You couldn't even watch a sporting event without fulltilt.net, followed by pokerstars.net, followed by a preview of the 2004 WSOP circuit event coming.
The opening of our podcast, Chicagoland's #1 live charity poker experience. That is from the original commercial that came out 20 years ago for CCG Poker, our only sponsor. I'm looking for more sponsors too. That's my number 2 goal of 2026. I've been reaching out to some like stakes and other things, Club GGs. Give me some money, guys. We'll use it wisely.
Use it wisely.
By gambling. We're just going to gamble with it. Just so you guys know. Like, if you give us any money, we're not going to buy equipment or like Brandon a better microphone to use in the car. Like, no, we're just going to fucking gamble it, which is great. That's what we want. It's American.
Because when we win, we will definitely mention the sponsors. So you have a 3% chance of that happening.
I lost my train of thought because I got super excited about gambling money.
The commercial 20 years ago.
I remember, thank you, Brandon, for bringing me back to reality. That little nod to Chicagoland's #1 live charity poker experience. It's like exactly how the guy said it. And I occasionally will post that video. It's only found on YouTube. It's not even on the CCG channel. It's through an email that I no longer use because it's 20 years old, but it's still up on YouTube. God bless you, YouTube. We did that 30-second commercial 20 years ago. I remember vividly paying. We were advertising with Comcast, right? Until Comcast was like, "Oh, this is gambling. You can't advertise it in Illinois," which is fine. So we don't do that anymore. But I remember advertising one commercial during the WSOP when it was prime time during the summer when it was prime time WSOP. Right? You remember this when it was on TV? I
remember,
and it was like the coolest
Tuesday
shit.
Night was a brand new episode.
So awesome.
I remember
live. Freaking nuts. I remember spending like $3,800 for a 30-second commercial, during the WSOP main event. It would air sometime in the show between 7 and 8 p.m., whatever the prime time was, and you got one 30-second spot, and that was just in the Chicago market. Like, it didn't even reach the suburbs.
That's kind of crazy. You're paying like Super Bowl prices.
I mean, it was nuts.
If you extrapolate it out.
Correct. If you did like a country or nation or whatever, like everybody, like the Super Bowls, everybody watches. Masters is all over the world. It's wild to see what they do. But it's really cool. Like, I love that those are still a thing. And I love the fact that in the last 3 years, we have the 3 top grossing main events of all time, which is awesome. And that's huge for poker. I do want to move on off of how awesome poker is and get to. You want to do one bad one?
Yeah, let's go to a bad one,
and then we'll go back to good ones.
Yeah.
All right. Do you want to do? I'm going to give you 2 hints. Dribble, or motherfucker. You got. That's my impression of William Kassouf.
Yeah, let's go there.
Kassouf, because I kind of think this is a super low.
Dribble. I just got what you were saying there.
NBA.
That was hilarious. I was like, what are you talking about?
What's this guy talking about? He's just bad enough to have a podcast. I might change that to our new moniker. William Kassouf it's kind of a sad story. I think personally.
Yeah, for as exciting and great that this year's WSOP was, I really think that's a big sore spot, how they kind of treated him and what happened. And, not to say he's innocent. We did a whole podcast episode about him if you want to go readdress all of that. However, that really kind of put a damper on the WSOP for me.
This is how great we are with what we need to do better. That was like 4 episodes ago. Main event mayhem from free rolls to final tables. And we do talk about William Kassouf in depth as well when we kind of go over that main event stuff. But it was just bad for poker. It was a bad look. It's worse than anything else that happened in 2025, in my opinion.
I agree. And then the way that they kind of, glorified Martin Cabril, another loudmouth guy who has gone from cheating scandals to kind of this villainy guy. And then they choose to like market him and, market a villain. But then here they kind of, destroy a different villain, even though they're kind of both doing the exact same thing.
With a huge difference of William Kassouf has never been accused of cheating. He's just a prick.
Right.
There's a difference. I don't mind an asshole.
He's kind of operating, 98% within the rule book.
And the 2% that he's not is bending. It's pushing the boundaries, which
For sure. And I think part of that is just, once he gets pushed, he's going to push back.
I don't condone that kind of behavior.
Again.
I don't condone. I wish in general, if it was a perfect world and I was on the Mr. Poker universe pageant, and they said, Ken, what would you do to make poker a better place? And I would say, I wish people would be nicer to each other. There's so many times I'm at poker and I hear people either playing or at CCG, from the planning aspect or the producing aspect of poker events in general. Like, people are fucking mean. Like, I don't
and
do
ruthless
that.
And so just like quick
cutthroat
to cutthroat. It's so quick to like get so offensive and like escalate a situation. It's like, okay, this was a 2, and then you push it to maybe a 3, and you clap back with a 12. It's like, all right, let's
and then the next thing you know, you got fights in poker rooms. And again, it's a bad look for poker in the sense that less people want to say, we want a little bit more wholesome of a game, right? Like, I don't know.
Sure. There's a fine line between like everybody sitting on their headphones and not saying a word.
Totally.
And then cutthroat calling everybody a smelly stick and
swear words and racial slurs and homophobic slurs and just whatever you can say.
It's like,
and man, look at that guy's hair. It's so fucking stupid. Like, that's a general thing that happens in a poker room to me.
Yeah, agreed. There needs to be some sort of balance.
You gotta, I hate the fact that I think I didn't know it was going to be my number one like low of the year. I hate the fact that they took a guy who's an asshole, and he is an asshole. William Kassouf's an asshole. Like, bar none, he's a dick. I don't really like him. I don't like the way that he does the things that he does, but he does it to get a reaction from other players. And my thought is always take the high road and don't give them the satisfaction of stooping to that level of listening to them,
For sure. Like, if you can just have more control over yourself and not let him get to you, then he's completely neutralized.
Correct. Then he has no power. It's great.
He has no edge, he has no power, and yeah.
But it goes further than that. So they took somebody who was a genuinely disliked player, right, who's loud and obnoxious and does kind of ruin part of the game at times when it gets too far, right? It gets too far. It's not always like that, but 30 hours of poker and this guy's yelling and screaming for 28 of them. Like, by hour 25, people they're out of patience. They're pissed. They don't want to hear it anymore. They're done. By hour 28, people want to murder him, right? They want to drag him into the bathroom and get rid of him. And that's kind of what the WSOP did. They took what should have been kind of I don't want to say clear-cut rule, but like they went way too far with kicking him out or doing the things that they did to him just because he's
remember, he was on like a 10-second shot clock.
Correct.
On day 7 of the main event, facing all ins.
That's not cool. There's no excuse for that.
You're playing for millions of dollars.
I think the WSOP overstepped their bounds of their rule number 1 of poker is always to protect the integrity of the game. And I feel like they didn't protect the integrity of the game. Now, they only did it to one person. And if it's like the whole Star Trek, it's for the greater good, maybe. But I don't want to be the guy who has to sacrifice myself for the greater good. That sucks.
And then the whole, once he gets out, they're escorting out, kicking him off the premises, making it so he can't play another. It's just like a show at that point.
It went too far. Now, could he have maybe stopped it at some point? Yeah, but I understand. I'm one of those people that watches like the police videos on TikTok, the First Amendment guys. Like, they went there looking for a fight to exercise their First Amendment, which I fully believe in. But it's like, what are we really doing? Like, you went there to pick a fight, got into a fight, and then you want to sue the police. I don't know. It's
Right
just
now,
like,
you're the victim. It's like, yeah, for
which,
sure.
yeah, you kind of instigated that. Now, I don't think that's the exact same thing with what William Kassouf did. But again, at some point, he could have slowed down and maybe handled it differently, which wouldn't have when everybody's escalating this situation, eventually an atomic bomb of problems goes off, and that's what happened to him. He was the atomic bomb of, I don't get to play the WSOP, and maybe not any. They haven't even, have they decided if he's going to be?
I don't even think. Now he did come back and play like a WPT or something at
kind of different.
the
but the
Win,
same
but I mean that's completely different government
organization.
I mean, that's
So
not Caesars, yeah,
maybe
I think Caesars Properties was for the whole year. It's 2026
or
now,
like
so I don't know.
6 months or some shit. Anyways, very bad for poker. I don't like it. I feel like it's
And
over.
then for me, it's just the fact that they took somebody that's kind of like him and then glorified it too.
Like,
you know,
shortly
you're
after.
now making money, and all I saw was the feeds was Martin Cabral this and Casino Royale that and blah blah blah. This is a guy that the high stakes people want out. Like they want him barred. They think she's, you know what I mean? Like Daniel Negreanu hates the guy, and so many of the top pros just cannot stand this guy. And he bends the rules too, and he does. And he's an asshole to the dealers and the players, and you know he's been accused of marked cards. And this is the guy that we decide to ascend on a pedestal,
right?
All while taking lateral movement over to another guy who wasn't even ever accused of cheating, and just bash him into the ground.
Jerk.
And so, like picking and choosing where, you know, who gets the high road and who gets buried, you know, all for monetary gain on both ends. I feel like they make money off Kassouf, you know, escorting him out and making a huge deal of that, and you make money this way. It just seemed a little sour for as good as the WSOP was this year. That is definitely a sore spot.
Agreed. Wholeheartedly agreed. Sore spot might not even cover it.
No.
Let's jump back over. Highs. Back to highs.
Sticking with the WSOP?
Kind of in the sense of, I like that they're making poker like a better experience, which we just talked about, how to make poker a better experience as players, but as promoters of the game, you know, like the WSOP and the WPT are, making poker more of an experience where it's, you know, obviously the structure and the buy-ins and the number of players and the guarantee, they're all very huge and a huge portion of what a poker tournament is. But part of what makes the WSOP main event and just the series in general so much fun is the experience that you have while you're there.
Of the entirety, more than poker.
It's the stages and the featured tables and the recordings, you know, the live streaming. It's the merch tent that's there. It's the big, you know, WSOP sign that everybody gets to make it. Like it's the
media, and when you pull a big bounty, it's up on the big TV screen for everybody to see.
It's awesome. It's an experience.
And the national anthems when you win a bracelet, and the presentations and
what do they call with the risers when you're at like the Olympics and they have like the platforms?
The
like,
podiums.
Yeah, there you go, podiums. Like that's awesome. I love that poker is we're turning this into, I don't know, for a lack of better word, I mean, it's something in the event world that it's a production. You want to make it exciting, and it's more about what players feel and the experience that they have. Only a small portion of the poker players in a tournament, by design, are going to be happy with what they won. The other 90% of the people who play in the tournament get nothing. They just paid an entry fee and they got nothing.
Toughest part of advertising poker is
you ever see a casino with a high Google review? No. You know why? Because 90% of the people who go, or more, probably like 98%, they lose. They lose all the time.
Right.
Sucks. What do you think about the Horseshoe? Fucking place sucks. Every time I go there, I lose money. Fuck that place. It's so funny when people are like, I don't understand why the Horseshoe's got a 3.1% stars on Google. Yeah, because
everybody loses.
Everybody loses their money. Like, it sucks. Nobody wants to lose money. It's a terrible idea. You know, I love the fact that we're kind of changing that. It's so nice to be able to, like, I'm a perfect example. I didn't cash in anything at the WSOP a couple years ago. I loved it. I had a blast. I had so much fun. It was so cool. I enjoyed the experience, and I learned so much, and I loved the stages and the lights and the big rooms. Like, it's very cool. And now they're doing it even on a bigger trying to create the paradise, WSOP paradise, where it's at the Bahamas. It's in the winter for most of the continental United States. I mean, that's awesome. I love the fact that all the circuit events were driven towards sending people down there, right? Like it was.
That's what I was going to mention. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't realize how cool. I didn't like going into that PLO tournament. I got second place in. I thought about
Humble
Paradise.
brag.
I thought about Paradise Bahamas 0%.
Correct.
That is not. I went to go play a $600 PLO tournament,
And I want to win.
Don't
get me wrong. I want to win.
Yeah. I want to ring more than anything.
What did I get?
The
12?
money's great. Yeah. Oh, the humble brag. You got 12. You min cash. Good job.
I got a ladder up.
Didn't even make day two.
Of $40.
Oh, yeah, you got the $14 ladder up.
So
actually,
that's a fucking low
ladder.
Payouts. Flat payouts are a low of 2020. Change that
Yeah,
shit.
15% payouts. Go back to the OG 10%.
10%.
You don't need to make that extra 5% of people happy.
No, I'm not happy. I'm actually more pissed.
Happy.
I'm
Right.
more pissed than if I hadn't cash. Anyways, go ahead. Back to the experience of Paradise.
So as the final table, progressed, and all of a sudden it's final 4, final 3, final 2. I'm like, I'm gonna go fucking Bahamas, dude.
I know.
Like,
it's
this
a
is great.
vacation,
and it's not even.
It's
and it
free.
Really, right.
And I
it
could
was
maybe
more
turn it into
so-
millions of dollars.
And that's the thing. You say experience. I didn't even really care about the $2,500 poker tournament. I cared about the $2,500
Package.
The
package.
Just the excuse to be
Yeah.
able to go to the Bahamas for free
Fucking
and play
free
in a
money.
poker tournament is awesome.
It's a bonus. It's like a one-day
It's just-
event. I want to go
right.
scuba diving, and Atlantis has that cool water slide too,
Water
but like
slide.
fucking sharks
I
in
know.
it or something.
Yeah, for
Right?
sure.
That's the right place.
Just that's it.
It's awesome.
Just the experience of going to the Bahamas. I've been to a lot. I've been to all 50 states. Another humble brag, but I've never
You've
been to
really
the
been to
Bahamas.
all 50 states?
I have been to all
gotta
50 states. Yeah,
I have to step up my state game.
yeah.
I'm missing a lot. I've never been to Kansas.
I mean, 30 of the states aren't worth going to, but
Where they look
two
the
of them
same.
being the ones
Just
we
drive-
live in.
just drive through 'em.
They're just fly
fly
over the
off.
states.
Yeah, just fly and stop. I'm gonna start doing like my sidebar. Lindsay bought me my wife Lindsay bought me a map of the United States, and it's like places that you have golfed in, and I like colored in all the places, all the states that I've played in, and I was like, holy shit, I play a lot of golf, and I have never like. There's a lot
Been
of
to
places.
all these states.
Yeah, like there's so many
golf.
things that are different. Like, and then I'm thinking to myself, I've played golf in Minnesota one time. We live 3 hours away from Michigan. I've only played in Michigan one time, and it was actually like a couple months ago, 45.
And Michigan's got some nice courses, right?
Yeah. Awesome stuff. Arcadia Bluffs. I played this place called Lost Dunes, which was fucking amazing. And you kind of get over there, and there's like more elevation changes than what we have here in Illinois of super flat nothing. It was really cool. Like, I loved it. I would love to do that. I would love to play more. And I think poker's kind of the same way, where people enjoy like going to a new place to experience going to. I've never been to Oklahoma. I kind of want to go to one of the Oklahoma.
Choctaw.
Yeah, I want to go to Choctaw. Coolest shit to say. Very fun name to say. Choctaw.
Yeah.
I like saying it. I could see Louis the Finger there because he's always at Choctaw dealing. The MSPT goes there. The WSOP goes there. Like, it's a super fun, like, it would be an experience to go. I've been watching Tulsa on the Tulsa King on Paramount with Sylvester Stallone. Pretty good. Not a great show, but pretty good. It's about it's about casino rating of it. It's like a 3 out of 5. Like, it's not,
sure.
It's enjoying, but it's not winning any awards or anything. But I love the fact that poker's becoming more about experiences and more about just how many players, what's first place, how many are getting paid, what's the structure, what's the starting stack. Like, those are all important.
And not gonna, of course. But those
Everybody kind of does it the same, anyways. Like, it's everybody uses this. I love saying like,
that's a constant.
Yeah, it's just that's just the normal now.
And when you think about poker 25 years ago, you kind of think of like a smoky basement casino, slummy. Guys that are career gamblers, garble. Yeah, you think of like the 7 like sins or whatever, gluttony. You start thinking of like it all just kind of has a negative
guys named Grandma are in the back.
Right.
In the morning, your destiny awaits. Right. If you don't have my money, right? Like,
I mean, scummy's not the right word, but lower level.
Lowbrow.
It's just right. Yeah, and
I used to play in a Greek game. It was all Greek guys in a Greek restaurant, and we literally played with bicycle cards I don't even think we used bicycle chips. They were some other form of like fucking sugar packets or something. Like it's straight up, that's what it was. And it was like actually a pretty big game. Eventually, I remember them getting like their own chips, and it was like, oh my God, look at this.
And now, obviously that still exists.
Yeah, but now
in the world,
the focus,
now
the stage,
the focus
is paradise.
Is Las Vegas, is paradise, is these glamorous billion-dollar casinos with lights.
Who's the guy in the Czech Republic that they always go to? The King's place, something. King's.
Yeah, King's Room. It's like
it's in the Czech Republic, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, there's 0% chance I'm ever going to the Eastern European. In general,
some of those places you need to have like a suit to get in.
Right. Again, like it's a dress like code. Monaco, or what's the place in China?
Yeah, Monaco's nice. Macau.
Yeah. I also watched that new Colin Farrell movie.
You watch so much TV; it's actually insane.
I watch a lot of movies. I like watching movies at the events. It's where I disappear to at times. And it was about a gambler in Macau and like the trials and tribulations of like gambling in general. And it was kind of cool to see this like super fun facade of like this fancy schmancy world of black tie events and playing baccarat, and then it's like the other side of the coin where it's like you're borrowing money and you're broke and you can't find anything and you're down to your last $5 grand. What can you do with it? And he runs it up.
That's literally of course they run it up in the end. It's a great movie. Run it up in the end. But that is kind of like the microcosm of this entire episode. Is kind of like, there's the highs, there's also the lows, there's the dark side, there's cheating scandals, there's, players getting treated unfairly, but then there's cheaters. If you want to just quickly go in to that huge NBA scandal with, underground X-ray cards and see-through tables and advanced camera systems, and the dealers are in on it. And, we're talking about millions and millions of dollars, and these athletes are getting, scammed, and they're just going there. There's that does exist, and that kind of gets buried under the light and out of the media as it should. But at the same time, eventually you got this big NBA probe where it hits ESPN, and it kind of rocks the homeland with like, man, there's still like people getting scammed for millions of dollars. And again, that's part of the industry that we're in. And you just hope that those things are like one-offs and, happening way less than, in the 40s, 50s, 60s, which I'm sure it obviously is. The poker in general has gotten much more, legitimized in the last 40, 50 years. But, those things still exist behind the scenes. And that is definitely a low when those come to light through the news outlets.
Yeah.
I couldn't fathom, dealing a game where the cards are freaking X-ray and the guy's got contacts that can see through the cards, and that's kind of shady. But with a lot of money comes a lot of shady people, and
it is, and it's like anything. Whenever you get that type of money out there, and it's so funny because I hate talking about cheating because I don't want to be part of the poker media, which I guess is what we're doing right now, is the medium of content for poker. I don't want to focus on the cheating part because it is such a
small micro sample of it.
So not like what poker is about. And like when people instantly, that's what they think about first. Dark rooms, shady people, cheating you out of your money. Like that's not what poker is. Poker is a chess game of two people playing chess. That's what it is. It's 99% of the game is that. But with that being said, how
do you get that? People's first reaction is, "Oh, you work at a casino, but it is an underground game." Like, how do you get that identity out of it? Because it's not really what it is anymore. You're right, and obviously Vegas and the WSOP and all these huge places do a really good job
changing that.
Yeah.
I think.
Whereas, when I go to Christmas, it's like, oh, you work in an underground casino in a basement. It's like, no. I don't work at the Las Vegas, but it's not that. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. So I don't know how to get that out of people's brains as the first thing they think of.
Yeah, and then
But-
again, to
Especially when it's such the minority. It is not
it's such
the status quo anymore.
correct. It's super small, and then you take something like that NBA scandal that hits the national news and ESPN and things of that nature, and we get it. It's famous people with a lot of money on the line. And things of that nature. And then it's like people start to equate that down to their 1-2 game. Like, oh, like there's that Google review for about CCG where the guy's like, oh, I got screwed. They were cheating. It's like, one, that's not true. Two, the statistical, I like when he's like, it's statistically impossible to reach those hands. If you actually have a number of 1 million to 1, it's still statistically possible. It's a flawed logic in general. It is impossible for me to get attacked by a shark in Lake Michigan. Probably. There might be a small statistical thing that could happen. Maybe, or maybe not. This might have been a bad analogy. But
might have been. But it might not be impossible. It might be 1 in a gazillion.
You know what?
That,
the likelihood of me
shark
going
makes it
outside and
through.
getting struck by lightning is very small, right? It's a very small possibility. However, if you kind of do things that will put you in more harm's way, maybe those stats go down. So that is definitely something to think about. But that is not where it pertains to like a 1-2 game in a casino, at a home game or anything. The chances of you getting cheated in a 1-2 game are significantly smaller than, say, playing a 5,100 backroom PLO game off a bar somewhere in Chicago. Like, people aren't robbing 1-2 games where the minimum buy-in's $50, right?
For sure. It just goes the same thing. If the dealers could do it and the players could do it, they wouldn't be doing it for your $200.
That's my point. It's so stupid. They probably earn more than that per hour at the casino than between tips and the hourly. Then why would they steal your $80? It's stupid.
For sure.
It doesn't make any sense.
Especially with the same risk of getting caught. I mean, to be fair, you have the same risk of getting caught in any size game. So why
And the penalties are the same. They're the same penalties.
Are the same. So why wouldn't you go for the...
it might change a little bit when a judge, but like the actual law is written where it's not, like a felony charge is like, what, over like $500 or something?
Mm-hmm.
Or like, I mean, you steal a TV at Best Buy. That's a felony charge. Felony. Because some kid stole a TV off of a truck. Like, right? Like that's a different idea than like robbing Fort Knox, right? And the NBA game is the Fort Knox of poker.
For sure. And that's a one-off. That is the 1 in gazillion game that happened in.
And it's millions of dollars available for them in an unsecured area. Obviously, there's going to be a much higher potential of cheating than, say, a charity poker game where there is a massive 1-2 game with $5,000 on the table, which would be massive. That would be huge. That's not normal, right? Like normally it's a lot less. It's probably closer to like 1,500 to 2,000. But let's say it's a massive game. The likelihood of things being shady there for stealing your $80, the amount of effort and people and stuff that would take to happen to do that is just so not. It's not
realistic.
It's not realistic. It really isn't. And not to say that people have their heads in their in the sand and they're not doing things to ensure that there's the game's integrity. Like that is my number one thought at every game that's out there, is that the integrity of the game is upheld, because again, it's such a vast, like, you don't want one person out there saying those things, and some people say them and they make them up, and I hate when there's an uncredible thing that they use the NBA scandal as a resource of why you're
as a crutch,
like claiming that we don't have the same securities as a casino. It's the exact same securities. Like, it's actually arguably better because hand shuffling is a lot less likely to be cheated than a algorithm on a shuffle tech, which has been proven to be wrong. But nobody's going to use that and spend the money on a shuffle tech, automatic shuffler on a 1-2 game. There's just not enough money involved.
We're not going to invest $15,000 worth of technology and risk years
to
of
steal
jail time
$80.
To steal $80.
Stupid.
It is.
It should be. People should realize that. You know how many $80 you'd have to steal to make that worthwhile?
A lot.
It's not even. Physically, there's not a number that would happen. I'm sorry for the rant, everybody.
You're
I went
good.
off a little bit there. Cheating
let's
really bothers me, and I hate that is probably the number 2 story. Maybe the number 1 story for poker of the year, probably got the most views, is that, rather than what we think is the number one highlight of 2025, which is Michael Mizrachi winning the main event and the Players' Championship, which I don't think has ever been done in the history of poker.
I mean, it's definitely never been done.
And that guy's
that's
OG.
His fourth Player Poker Championship bracelet, if I'm not mistaken. At least third. I mean, I
kind of remember him holding up 3 fingers, but I don't remember if it was 4. But you're right. If we're talking about 3 or 4, that's like Tom Brady status of Super Bowls, where it's like, I have 9 rings. Like, nobody has anywhere close to that.
Already a successful year for him going into the main event.
Correct. That's not even the icing on the cake. That's the dump truck of gold bars on the cake.
And then, I love the stand up thing that Negreanu and Helmuth, they all just voted to immediately put him in the Poker Hall of Fame. Because it's like the day he won it.
If he had never done anything but just played poker this year, he is Hall of Fame
cemented his legacy for sure.
1 year. Just take this 1 year and nothing else. And the man's been playing poker for a long time, and it has lots of victories and lots of statistical information that shows that he is one of the best players out there, arguably Hall of Fame, before this year.
Right.
Now it's like
it's like when Brady went to the Bucs and just won another championship.
Are you serious? How does that happen? I love the Tom Brady analogy. Hey, Tom, maybe I'll email Tom Brady and see if he'll be on the show. Okay, I'll do it.
He might. He's pretty cool.
It's probably tom@tombrady.com.
TB12.com.
No,
definitely TB12.
How many Super Bowls does he have? 6?
I think it's 7.
That's a low.
I think it's 7.
Year. I hate the 6-7.
Me too. That's something that's got to go. But I do think, I said it before the podcast, you could take somebody that's been in a coma since 2005. Mm-hmm. They can wake up tomorrow and
20 years later,
20 years later, write down 25 poker players that were relevant in 2005.
When you pass,
he'd probably be on that list. Mm-hmm. And he'd probably, Doyle Brunson and Mike Madison and Slim and Phil. Right. And then Mizrachi, the grinder, would be on that list.
Yes.
So, for somebody that notable in these huge fields where there's a gazillion of 22 to 30-year-olds that make their life
grinding
studying
charts
GTO,
and grinding and turning poker into a game of chess and playing it as a mental game,
a solved mental game,
correct,
as opposed to this game of chance where people
I feel like I got to read on this guy and I understand his tells, which is kind of more of the old school poker versus new school poker. For an old school
all calculated math AI equation,
for an old school poker player to be able to win in kind of the poker AI world, it's fucking amazing. And then to not only win the main event, then to win a Players' Championship, his 3rd or 4th, we can't even remember which one it is. That's bananas. It's beyond bananas. They're right. It's auto Hall of Fame. You're just in. You're just in. You don't even need to come.
You don't need to wait 2 years and do it next summer.
Get nominated.
There's a chance that he could die in 30 years and this tournament be literally named the Michael Mizrachi's Poker Player Championship.
I know. It's kind of wild.
You know what I mean? It's just legendary. And it's a pretty sweet story for poker. I mean, that is a story that the WSOP can pick up and run on and make all the money you want on that, because that's just sweet. You know what I mean? That is something that gets you excited for poker.
That the tabloid mentality, and we all are at fault for this. We kind of like the shitty stories better than we like the feel good stories, right? Nobody wants to hear a feel good story. Michael Mizrachi is an amazing feel good story. It's unbelievable how amazing his year is and how cool it is, and they get Hall of Fame, and to have your peers, especially the top upper echelon of poker, to be like, the dude needs to go right now, do not pass go. He's it's so cool to have that, and yet the top stories of the year are going to be a cheating scandal,
cheating,
or even worse. And I didn't know if I wanted to mention it, so I'll wait to the end of the podcast to do it. But probably the number one low of 2025, which didn't actually go into effect until January 1, is the new poker tax laws.
Yeah,
those are really shitty. It doesn't make any sense, and it was clearly written by somebody who doesn't understand poker, and it deters people from playing in a small sense. I don't think a huge sense, because people like me aren't worried about tax on their gambling.
No, but
winnings.
when you got 10 million in cashes and winnings and 10 million in losses, and you owe $1 million in taxes,
that doesn't seem
that
right.
hurts.
That
hurts.
That doesn't seem right.
I mean, you owe taxes on $1 million. You don't owe $1 million in taxes.
I know what you mean, but you would have to pay tax in that, and that's exactly what it is. It's
you can only take off 90% of your losses. Yeah,
you can only,
which is just asinine.
Doesn't make any sense. If I spent
Nope.
$10,000 to play poker for the year and I banked one winner for $10K, which means I absolutely broke even as a professional gambler, which means you probably should get another job anyways. However, let's not look into that too deep. You should just walk away with, my company didn't earn any money to then say, well, your poker company now owes $1,000 in revenue, meaning you just pay tax on the $1,000.
Right, whatever. That's 18%, 35%, 22, whatever that number is.
Doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make,
No.
if I sold $5 million worth of widgets, but it cost me $5 million to develop and pay people and factories and whatever, like the company doesn't owe any money at the end, right?
Right, because there's no money. They didn't make any money to owe any money.
Right. There's no profit. Right. If I sold 5.5 million, it cost me $5 million to make it. I have $500,000 in profit. Pay the tax on that. In the poker world, you spent $5.5 million to get $5 million in winnings, which means you lost $500,000 collectively throughout the year. But you don't get to claim the full $5 million. You only get to claim 4.5, which means now I owe, right? Like I owe more money.
Yeah.
How's that possible?
I don't know.
Doesn't make any
dumb.
sense. That'll end
Hopefully
our,
that gets changed, but that does suck. So
go back to
we got
Michael
another roll
Mizrachi.
after it.
Amazing year. Good job. Poker boom. Go to the Bahamas, folks. Try to find a way to get in. Play in those smaller circuit events and solely play them with the thought of, yes, it's awesome to win a tournament, to win a ring, but it's also like get that free vacation. Like that's, I don't know, it's a bonus. It's a great way to explain to your wife or your husband, be like, I know I play a lot of poker, but bam, look at this. Like it's awesome. I like the experience of it. I think it's I think poker in general is trending towards a more, in the grander scheme of things, a more respectable profession and
hobby. Yeah, it's kind of made its way towards the mainstream where it's like, I'm a professional poker player. It's like, oh, I've seen those before. Like, right. Oh, I've seen that on, do you know what I mean? Whereas like 20 years ago, you're like, oh, so you gamble and you take other people's money for a living.
The content's better too, right? Like the people out there doing poker content, it's better. It's more than just, the ideas of wins and losses. It's about all the other fun stuff that you get to do as a poker player.
For sure. Like if you think of remember the Trooper?
Yeah.
You think of the Trooper and like his videos in 2008 compared to like Abby Poker, who's in all these other different countries and doing all this fun stuff in addition. You know what I mean? Like just those two little differences is kind of the evolution of what poker has done. And obviously
but
part
different.
of that.
Yeah.
It's the same, but it's way different. Right.
It's more about the idea of going to all these different places and waking up and playing. Like, it's awesome. I love that. You get to see outside the poker room as well. We still get to see poker content, but we want both. And I think that's what's...
For sure. And I think, obviously, from a viewer standpoint, obviously, the 2026 stuff is way more aesthetically pleasing to watch when you get to see all this other stuff besides 11 poker hands. That took 45 minutes. But as the poker player that is experiencing it, it's the same thing. There's experiencing so much more than driving to a parking garage, walking in, getting a 1-2 seat, playing for 7 hours, making $90, grabbing a Starbucks coffee, driving home. And I think poker's done a good job of making it more about that whole experience than just the person making it about it. Like poker has driven that experience.
Which is
That's
awesome.
all I got.
I love it. I think there's a lot more highs than lows. I wish the highs got more attention than the lows, but sometimes that's just human nature. As always, thank you for listening to our podcast. If this is the first time you're checking us out, make sure you hit that subscribe button on YouTube if you're watching it on YouTube or listening to it on YouTube, which is a thing now. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, think about leaving us a review. Even if you just smash that 5-star review, don't give us a casino rating, even if we suck. Just give us 5 stars. Like it's not that big.
Right, you didn't lose any money here.
You
I
didn't
promise.
fucking lose any money, and maybe you got a little bit of entertainment. I don't know, whatever. Like occasionally I tell funny jokes, and Brandon gives really good insight in poker, and you're missing out. And he's an accomplished player. So listen to him. But in general, just give us a 5-star. Like who cares? Tell your friend, hey, playing poker the next time you're at some home game. Hey, I heard these two assholes on the podcast. Check it out. It's great. That's all we need. We need a little word of mouth, folks. Talk about us out there somewhere, so we can get a sponsorship from Steak, so we can blow it all on
right.
Free,
and we can not be labeled
spins.
bi-monthly. I guess that's our fault, but we'll do our part on that.
You better do your part, folks. Anyways, thanks for listening, and we will catch you at an event or poker tournament. Poker. Try that again. We will see you at a poker experience near you. This is
farewell, everybody.
Yeah, farewell.
Enjoy the weather.
It's your sign off. I love it. Enjoy the weather. See ya.